What's up, YouTube Gen X? Okay, what is the difference between a community and a cluster or gang or collection of people? Okay, if I drive my car down the street and I see a group of 500 people, do I instantly call them a community, or are they nothing more than just a gang or cluster of people? Um, the word community, if you break it down, in my opinion, means that you have men, women, and children who are living together and working together so that life is easier and they can meet the basic needs of human life, in regards to support, um, protection, you name it, right? That is a community. So in a community, you have men, women, and children, and everybody knows their role. So they're working towards something. So one day, the children will grow up, and they'll go off, and they'll learn what it means to be a man, and the women will do the same. But, until they hit that point, they do what the kids do, whether it's going to the stream to get some water, right? Or carrying a basket from this house to another house. They do simple children-like stuff, and then they get to that age, and they learn what it means to be the man, or what it learns to be a woman, right? Um, whether that community has a lot of money or they're barely getting by, that's kind of irrelevant. At the end of the day, they're still working together. You can have a community that has a boatload of extra money, or extra resources, or a stockpile of food, right, and bison meat or whatever, right? And you can have a community that's barely holding on. It hasn't rained in their region for the last couple of months, but they're still a community. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a function. People are organized. Um, and obviously, a group or cluster of people are just people. They're not working towards anything, right? To say that they're a community just because they're there, I think is, wrong. Now, with that being said, if you look at black people, are we in a community or are we just a cluster of people? People talk about leaving the black community, and it's like, what am I leaving? There is no black community. Has there been black communities in the past? Of course. Yes, there was a time in African American culture where the men knew what they were supposed to do, the women knew what they were supposed to do, the children knew what they were supposed to do. And at one point in time, when the children got old enough, they would go their separate ways and learn what it meant to be a man, and, the women would learn what it means to be a woman, right? It didn't necessarily matter if there was a whole bunch of money, right? You were making do with what you had. People were somewhat organized. Do we have that now? No. So what exactly am I leaving or not taking part of? Right? You have the women who are talking about fixing the black community, and I would say that, what is there to fix? In order to fix a car, you have to have one. And right now, we don't have that sort of community. So one needs to be created. It's as simple as that. A lot of these ideas about, fixing the black community and moving here and moving there, it all falls on deaf ears. Because we see a whole bunch of black people living in one area. They just so happen to be concentrated in one area, and we take it as if it's a community, right? Um, living in Southern California is, there's a large Mexican population, and I can say that there's a Mexican population. I can say that. That doesn't imply that they're just doing so well, because obviously you have the bulk of the community in that sort of lower income sort of environment, right? But there's a role and a function for everybody, right? It's as simple as that. People know what's expected of them, and people who don't want to follow suit, they're outcasted for the most part, right? So there is somewhat of a community. But when you look at black people, are we doing the same thing? No. If I'm Mexican, I can actually go to a Mexican-owned business, right? If I want to get some seasoned carne asada, right, I know I can go buy it from another Hispanic man. If I need something done, even if I want to buy a car, a used sort of car, I can go to a dealership owned by a Mexican, if me and my family want to go out to eat, I know I can go to a restaurant that is ran by Mexican people, right? So there's a community, right? The young Mexican boy who may want to, I don't know, one day, uh, get into landscaping, or, even maybe construction or whatnot, he can go off and learn the ropes. Like I said before, growing up as a kid, when we had some sort of remodel or something done to the house during the summertime or even on the weekend, the contractor would come through, and he's like this Mexican guy, and he has his son with him, and his son is learning the ropes, right? And if he would mess up, he would, correct them and whatnot, and that's how things were done, right? Same thing with the women, with the women, they get to a certain age and they're going to go off and they're going to learn how to run the household and, how to prepare for the quinceañera and all that other good stuff. So there is that community, right? Like I said, there may not be a lot of financial resources flowing around, but there's a level of community. But with black people, can you call it a community, or can you call it just a cluster or a gang of black people? Literally, just black people loitering around. I laugh when black women talk about fixing the black community, because the same women talking about it aren't living there. You have black women talking about fixing the black community, but they're talking about fixing themselves. They're talking about their own personal happiness. They're talking about their own home, their 4-bedroom home, their Range Rover. That's their community. So let no one be fooled to that whole, your progressive black women, they're talking about actually fixing the black community overall. No, they're not. A long time ago, and you can go to my YouTube channel, I did a response to an old clip where you had this older PhD black woman talking about how the black community gets weaker when black men date outside of the race, because those resources go to non-black communities. A, we don't have any communities, right? And B, and I made this point in my response, even if I'm with a black woman, pro-black, the whole nine, what does that mean for the black community that doesn't exist? Where are we spending our money, right? I don't understand. How are black people profiting simply because I'm married to a black woman and we're living off in the suburbs? The only sort of money that's going into the black community is when I take my sons to get their hair cut, because the owner of the barbershop is going to be black, right? Or if we go to the daughters and the mom go to the hair salon, but not the nail shop, right? When they want to go buy the hair, they're not spending it in black-owned businesses. Keisha, who's doing the hair, she may get some money under the table, right? So, where's this community? Like I said, I don't feel that complaint at all. That whole coming from black women, fixing the black community and all that bullshit, they're not talking about that. They're talking about their own personal happiness. That's what they're talking about. And they'll hide that, once again, to stay pro-black. Like I said before, the women will come up with these reasons and these explanations to somehow keep that whole image of the strong pro-black woman by saying community. But they can give a fuck about the community, right? Drive through your inner city, and how many educated, well-to-do black women do you see? Come to Southern Cali, they're not there. I don't see any black educated women living in Crenshaw or Compton, right? They're trying to live in West LA, Santa Monica, Westwood, right? For those who know Southern Cali, or Orange County, right? Or some valley area, Pasadena, right? And, they're trying to kick it with a different sort of crowd. Seen it happen. But yet they're going to fall back on fixing the community, and we don't even have a community, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. It's not me trying to be a household, but I think there's a difference between trying to create something versus trying to fix something. Trying to fix something implies that you already have something there, but we don't have anything. So I don't understand this whole idea of, you need to go get your tools, and you need to go, you need to report to this area and get to work. What area? All I see is a cluster or, groups of black people here and there. Oh, yeah, you may have some areas that have more black people than others, but where's the community, right? Where are the roles for the men and for the women and for the children? I don't really see anything at all, right? It has little to do with the lack of resources. There are communities that don't have much, but you can still see the community. So I don't buy it. Let no one come tell me, well, if there's resources, you'll have a community. Bullshit, right? So I can keep going, but I want to end it here because I'm running low on space on my Gen X account, even though I deleted some of my older videos. So I don't really know what's up with that. But I'm going to end it here. There's another video that I want to make anyway. So y'all take it easy. God bless.